What's the personality type of Robert Pattinson? In today's video, let's try and figure that out.
I need to be in the perfect balance of serotonin to watch my own stuff. And so I need to work out for 2 hours beforehand. I need to have an enormous amount of sugar and caffeine. And so whatever I'm watching, I'm like, yes.
Really?
Do you see in this clip how Robert's eyes are bulging out of excitement? He's getting very intense, very passionate when he's talking about things. It also caught my attention here how Robert talks about having to do things. I need to work out. I need to drink a bunch of sugar in order to feel physically right. It seems like sensory stuff that hits his senses affects him a lot, are sort of little nuances and inputs that he notices quite a bit.
I get too enthusiastic, and if I like something, I'll get so enthusiastic that I can't even hear what the person's saying.
If I like something, I've kind of had so many random reactions to things throughout the years. But I like it, and I don't care what anyone says.
If I like it, I get super enthusiastic. I don't care what other people think. I want to do it. Watching Robert, how expressive he gets, how passionate he is about his individual personal feelings, personal convictions about things, those are all personality fingerprints that point to something called introverted feeling. Introverted feeling is a special emotional way of sorting things out and prioritizing things that lets certain personality types be really, really good at checking in a lot with what feels right to them, what feels authentic to them at an individual level. Robert's introverted feeling personality superpower is the reason why he's so authentic all the time, why his interpersonal feelings are bubbling up and splashing out, being expressed all the time. He's constantly giggling to himself, and you'll notice he's very comfortable being weird, being himself, even if it's different from what other people expect from him or what's, in quotes, normal.
I think men put women in categories. And so
sweeping statements. Jesus.
By the way, when I speak like this, I don't mean every man. I don't mean every man. I mean in general.
I think you're probably right too.
Probably right.
No, I'm joking. The next personality pattern you notice watching Robert is he's quite comfortable doing things and saying things without thinking that much about what he's doing or saying. He just sort of throws it out there. Did you see there how he threw out an opinion? Whoa, sweeping statement. And then immediately took it back, was totally playing around. That was not serious at all. I started noticing Robert is really, really playful, and the specific way that he's spontaneous and flexible, open, likes to sort of try things and throw things out there, not planning things out. He's spontaneous in a way where he's actually not really thinking. He's more reacting. He's more improvising. Things are just happening and he's playing around, engaging with the moment.
I get this a panic makes me say, I don't know what I'm saying on talk shows at all. I don't know what's coming out of my mouth.
Yeah. I mean, but also, I just can't remember anything I've said. As soon as it's happened, it's gone. How I've chosen to do something, it changes all the time. I mean, it's almost completely random. I haven't really made any choices with my life at all.
Wow.
It just happens.
As soon as it happens, it's gone. I can't really remember it. I actually haven't really made many choices with my life. It just sort of happens. Do you see how that's extremely in the moment? Almost a remarkable ability to just be in the present without floating off thinking about the past or the future, just the present moment?
I like doing things that feel crazy to me. I just don't want to do stuff that's boring.
I like extremes. I like things I like things going crazy. I like I like hanging around with crazy people. I like situations that most people think are unbearable. I like it. And when everyone else is freaking out, it kind of makes me feel really calm, and it's I have a dump of serotonin afterwards.
Okay, so here again, do you see him talking about this dump of serotonin? He has this awareness of what feels physically good or right to him. And in terms of what's actually making him feel good, what's exciting or interesting to him. Do you see how it's not abstract ideas and concepts? Oh, I was thinking about this and then that made me happy. No, for him, it's actually his real life environment, what he's experiencing, what he's engaging and playing with, interacting with that has the strongest effect on him. Which is why, for him, extreme real life situations, they're not always super overwhelming, but instead really fun, interesting playgrounds to explore. Ooh, look at all this exciting stuff that's going on around me, that's affecting me, that I can interact with, that I can engage with and experience.
Hitting yourself or forcing to throw up or something, is that true?
it's just reactive, and there's
Reactive.
minds and stuff, and so you're trying to figure out different ways of feeling things. I don't know, just kind of being engaged with the environment. I like doing things where you're kind of getting dirty and stuff, and trying to, I don't know, pissing on things.
Watching Robert, I was very surprised. This was not at all what I was expecting, but there were so many loud, obvious signals that his personality type is really, really good at something called extroverted sensing. Extroverted sensing is a special way of exploring the outside world that likes to get out there and experience things in real life, engage with real life physical and sensory possibilities that are going on around them. Something you'll see a lot with all the SP personality types that use extroverted sensing all the time is they're really, really good at being present. They tend to have quite high sensory awareness. They're really good at being in the moment, sort of reacting to things in real time without sort of floating off into their heads. And something that's so cool about them is how much they like actually getting out there and doing things. Actual real life exploring, hitting against the outside world, using their senses to actually experience and like tangibly know what's possible and going on around them.
Everything starts to come organically, and you start to something happens. I don't know how to prepare for anything. It's just kind of thought. Do you know how you normally do a costume fitting and you have a bunch of stuff to try on, you try everything on, and it goes like, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel right, this feels right.
It's funny, there's something that you can feel when it feels right. You can't, like, there's something, you put the suit on and you have to speak in a certain way.
Robert's introverted feeling that likes checking in a lot with how things make him feel, combined with his extroverted sensing that's very in the moment, that likes to explore in a physical and sensory way. It's the reason why Robert doesn't like planning things out. He says he doesn't even really know how to plan things out, and instead likes leaning on his instincts, just sort of like trying things, throwing things out there. Maybe I'll do this with my voice. Maybe I'll sort of move my body like this, until he somehow senses, somehow knows things feel right.
How it fights the chicken was it flaps around the cage for like an hour, just flap banging on the cage until the chicken's been scared for so long the chicken falls asleep. And then the bat sneaks into the cage and bites it on its anus. And I sent that to Matt Reeves, and he's like, I've got an idea.
SP personality types that use extroverted sensing all the time are sometimes stereotyped as not very deep, not very creative or imaginative, because from the outside it can look like they just do things without thinking. If you actually get to know these personality types though, listening more closely to their humor, noticing, appreciating more what they're trying, what they're exploring, you're gonna very quickly notice they're actually very creative, very imaginative, just maybe playing in a different playground than what you might be used to. With them, look at the things that they like to combine. Oh, I think this ingredient should go with this ingredient. I think this outfit should go with this outfit. Look at how they interact with things, how observant they are, the creative things that they try, or like their humor. I think it's extremely underrated. The things that they're able to visualize or come up with on the spot based off of real life things that they've seen. Like here at the Bat, do you see the explosion of funny ideas that jumped into his head that he wanted to sort of explore and try out because of something interesting that he saw? That's totally creative and imaginative.
There's something about just getting anything which is just in the ether. I mean, it's not the literal interpretation of something.
Not the literal interpretation.
It's just kind of letting stuff enter you.
Even though Robert's really good at using his instincts, reacting to things, being quite in the moment, he actually also has an intuitive side, which is a strong, major part of his personality. Over and over again, Robert would talk about sometimes seeing something, seeing an image, seeing a sculpture or something, and something about what he was seeing, observing, using his extroverted sensing would sort of trigger his intuition, would sort of give him this weird abstract sense that there was potential here, that something was sort of meant to be, had to happen in this direction.
I just something about the photo, it was just on the banner of a website. I was just like, that's just an incredible photo. And I hadn't seen any of their stuff at all. And just from the strength of that meeting, we were like, let's just do something.
It was a sculpture, and for some reason, I was looking at this slightly abstract sculpture, and I was like, why does this feels like, but just the shape of it. And I remember showing this photograph of the sculpture to her, and she was like, yes, that's it. And I was like,
it's interesting. The patterns that Robert stumbles across, they're always extremely abstract. Not things that are easy for him to explain, put in words, things that are not easy for him to spell out, things where there isn't a clear, direct interpretation. Often he doesn't even really know where the patterns are coming from, what jump sort of got him there. With him, it's more like there's something about this song, the sound, what I'm looking at, it sort of just gives me this vibe. Because of what I'm seeing and the abstract pattern that's emerging, I sort of want this to happen, or I sort of want to try something in this direction.
The studio was kind of a little bit scared to make things a little bit too emo and stuff, and I thought that was the only way to play it.
I wanted to do a radically different thing to all the other Batman.
did.
And kind of wanted to wear like a dressing gown and kind of fluffy like Bugs Bunny slippers. I'm like, I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna go really whispery. And
do you see here how Robert's talking about sort of envisioning things? Ooh, I have this idea that I want things to be like this. And then he gets really excited about actualizing that, making that happen. Do you also see how what he's excited to try, it's something specific. It's in a very specific direction. I wanted to go in an emo direction. I wanted to try doing this whispering thing.
I remember doing it and thinking, the audience I want for this is for someone in 10 years' time to be watching TV at 3 o'clock in the morning, and this comes on, and then you have no idea if you're asleep or not.
In this clip, again, do you see him envisioning things, something specific, almost like a movie scene? In 10 years' time, it'd be sort of cool if there was this type of person out there and I was able to have this specific effect on them. Watching Robert, the way he likes envisioning things, sometimes digging underneath the surface to find some abstract hidden patterns, guess about where things could go, where there might be some potential. Those clues point to Robert's personality type being good at something called introverted intuition. Introverted intuition is the more mysterious side of Robert that sometimes likes to look around and guess about where things might be headed, what might be coming around the corner. Introverted intuition likes to go inward to bring things together and connect the dots. It's very personal, often very abstract. It's often like a gut feeling type of intuition that lets personality types like Robert's sometimes feel like they know things, or like they just have this sense of things, can sort of pick up this vibe from things without exactly knowing where that signal is coming from.
There has to be some kind of connection. But I know I really want to do it.
But why?
I think there's just a ballerina inside me.
You do have a female gaze.
Come out.
From the personality patterns that showed up over and over again watching Robert Pattinson, super strong introverted feeling with some extroverted sensing, introverted intuition, and extroverted thinking in there, the fingerprint match that makes the most sense to me for Robert Pattinson is that he's an ISFP personality type. I noticed there's hundreds of people online who feel very strongly that Robert Pattinson is instead an INFP personality type, but I've got to tell you, from hours of watching the clips, researching him, I saw literally zero signals for INFP. Right now, if you guys want to see a bonus video of me reacting to some funny clips of Robert Pattinson making up stories, improvising, sort of lying a bit during interviews, I made a bonus analysis video that's waiting for you right now on Patreon. Link down below if you are interested. You are the change maker of your own life. Let's think more deeply. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace. Bye.